Why are we doing this? I can't believe we're doing this again, boys and girls, but it's the weather report for September 9th, 2022. And we're going to talk about death and despair of atheism.
Yeah, it's so horrible. In fact, I am in such despair that the James Webb Telescope has given me more reasons to be fascinated by astronomy and astrophysics.
Right.
I've got more to think about when I recline on the hood of a waiting vehicle and look up at the stars out in the field somewhere. I have more galaxies to ponder and to think about. I have more distance to think about. It's horrible being alive right now.
I know.
Because the standard model might have to be adjusted somewhat because of different expectations have been met with different data. I don't know how I'm going to make it to the next day, man.
How are we going to save the Big Bang, which we hang on to because of Darwinism and evolutionism? It's not going to be true if the Big Bang didn't happen, right?
Yeah, when I go to bed every night, I get on my knees right there next to my bed and I say a little prayer for the Big Bang.
Well, I can't sleep at all. I'm panicked. I mean, I'm in a panic over the Big Bang. I mean, my goodness, the Big Bang is so important in evolutionary biology. It's just
I know these are horrible days.
Horrible.
I'm panicking.
Right. Death and Top Dog is here because he's been abused by Otangelo on an email.
Poor Top Dog. I can't scratch you behind the ears, Top Dog, but I'm scratching my Kira behind the ears in your honor.
This email chain that has been going on, and I think if you printed it out, it would take at least a ream of paper right now.
I know, yeah.
If not two.
And it all started from Jason Torrens' message.
Yeah, what was the original message was what? It was something simple, right?
His stream.
Yeah, okay, that was it. And then Otangelo jumped on and started posting the entire cat's board.
One thing we need to say about Jason Torrens is he's really picked up on the content. He's it's discussions generally that he's been in, and that he's done a great job with A, the discussions, and B, premiering them.
Yes,
he's provided a lot of good content, and I have to be appreciative to Jason. I hope he's out there listening.
Yeah, and I think we linked one of those day before yesterday.
Yeah.
And I want to say hi to Stephanie Trenton because she always shows up.
Stephanie is one of our most regular and faithful, loyal listeners.
But then if you go on every other stream that's live right now, you'll also find a copy of Stephanie Trenton.
True, but you'll also see Nerdy Wrote It in a lot of places, and we still admire and respect and look forward to his remarks.
But here's what you won't see. Bread of Life, who I invited today, and she's dodging by saying she's driving. So anyway.
Well, sometimes you got to get in the car and go get gas so that next time you have to get in the car, you have gas.
Yeah. Anyway. Hopefully Bread of Life will at least like my video. I don't know. She probably won't like it after we talk about it. Anyway, okay, so we should jump right into this cell thing. Cell Cordova. Why do I talk about Cell Cordova all the time?
I don't know, man.
Because I'm obsessed.
Well, y'all have overlapping interests.
Yeah.
For one thing. You
every
just don't
morning
like the way he does the thing that you're interested in.
So 15 years ago, the coyotes killed our beloved cat, Death Star, who was a 20-pound tuxedo cat. Gigantic cat, right? 20 years ago. And Many mornings I sit out on a chair overlooking the valley with a 22 between my knees. 15 years later, still hunting coyote. Anyway, so that explains why I have Sal Cordova on so much.
Gotcha.
Hunting coyote. Yeah. Anyway, so one thing I want to clear up real fast. Okay, he's writing a letter to apparently. Okay, so he spoke at Liberty University. Oh, let's do a little background on Liberty University. He mentioned something which is kind of curious right here. They're a Christian university of some sort, and a lot of the young Earth creationists come from there. And
that's related to Jerry Falwell, I think. They created it. They also created a law school called Regent.
Okay.
I think, and so a lot of the fundy, conservative, dominionist kind of politicos have gone through that law school. So there's a lot of connections to politics, to dark conservative politics coming through there.
You're right, Stephanie, arch enemy. Okay, so but I think he says they're discredited. Hang on a second. Listen to this. Give this a listen.
Liberty University.
How's the volume?
Fine.
It's fine? Because,
yes.
Well, let me try again. Okay, I just got rid of my noise cancellation.
It was probably the premier young Earth university until it was delisted. I still think, by and large, especially like in the engineering faculty, and
it was delisted. So apparently they've lost accreditation, or whatever.
It could be. Didn't Jerry Falwell Jr. wasn't he in charge of that place for a while, and then got into scandal? And it sounds like he just did not have his eye on the ball with all that.
I noticed that a lot of these people, these PhD scientists that they talk about, are teaching at the Liberty University.
Yeah. And what do you have to do at Liberty University to teach there? You have to sign a statement of faith.
Probably. But then, okay, he says this.
Faculty, they are still young Earth creationists. It's kind of the theology faculty that's kind of wavering. But there is still
So that implies that in Liberty University, the theology faculty is wavering on young Earth creationism.
Yeah. But there are so many levels of creationism you can go into. When I was in the 90s, when I was in seminary, without even taking any courses about the topic, I did a lot of research. Simply because, I was wondering about how to reconcile Genesis and literal interpretations and actual science. And there was a lot of good books from people who weren't extreme fundamentalist young Earth creationists that really kind of helped pull me along until years later when I finally did, what's the word now? Deconstruct. But yeah, there are somewhat reasonable middle grounds you can take.
Yeah.
And that's what he means by wobbly, theologians being more reasonable.
Okay, so so Sel is suing.
Jay Patrick has just entered the room.
I know Jay and one of these. Did you see the TJump debate with a guy named Ronny last night on Modern Day Debate by any chance?
Somebody. I was over on Brojo's earlier, and he, I think, Wild Eden mentioned something about it. I think I got a notification for it, but I didn't bother watching it.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And then Leo went on John Maddox's channel and said that this Ronny jumped all over, like TJump, that he just shattered him. And I listened to it, and I thought this Ronny was like pretty dense. And TJump called him stupid about 500 times. And I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to check some of that out. But first of all,
you have to go back and check that.
Okay, first of all, so Sal Cordova is suing McLean Bible Church because they threw him out and threatened to arrest him if he ever showed up again. And I think the reason for that is because he was creating so much dissent in the church. and he was in the back taking pictures of the attendance every Sunday. And I think a creepy man in the back with a camera may have been a reason to remove him. Some people probably complain. And so now he's suing them because they didn't explain to him why they threw him out. And when he asked the church, as near as I can figure, when he asked the church to explain it, the church said they wanted to do it privately, not publicly, but Sell wanted it to be public. But they didn't want to go public because they didn't want to embarrass Sell, is what they said. So
churches aren't churches still considered private property? Don't they? I wonder how that, I don't know how that works.
They're private organizations.
Right. They can throw you out if they want, if you're, but anyway, so all this dissent started when they, back when George Floyd was killed, this Reverend, what is that? God, why did I forget his name?
How's it going, Jefferson Spatzcock?
Howdy. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you just fine, yes.
Okay, Reverend Mike Kelsey, who happens to be black, was basically become, he was like very powerful in McLean Bible Church and still is, I think. And so during Black Lives Matter, he made a statement, and Saul Cordova keeps going on about that statement, right? So he's really taken aback by it. But so Saul Cordova is now circulating a letter, okay, because they invited this reverend to speak at Liberty, another reverend to speak at Liberty, and Saul Cordova was there speaking at some creationist conference. And so Sal is circulating a letter trying to get him canceled, basically, I think is what's going on. But listen to what the letter says.
This is Sal circulating a letter about the same. He's still going for the same guy.
That Reverend Kelsey and the other guy, I forgot his name. The head of the church right now has another name. He'll mention it here, and we'll figure out who it is. It's another pastor who. There's a whole bunch of people in McLean Bible Church that think these people are too woke for them. And their wokeness is really upsetting Sal and a few other churchgoers. So the church is like split right in half over this whole wokeness issue, right? And it's just, it happens. It's pretty
So some are introspective and others aren't. Okay.
Like, okay, and in AA for a while, when the whole non-smoking thing started, like if you walked into an AA meeting, you walked into this billowing cloud of smoke, right? That you couldn't even see the other people there. That's why they called it Alcoholics Anonymous, because you couldn't see people through the cigarette smoke. And so when the whole non-smoking thing started, they decided to have smoking and non-smoking groups. And then they were going to have like atheist and non-atheist groups. And so then if you had atheist non-smoking groups, and then you had gay and straight groups, and you would have atheist non-smoking gay groups, atheist smoking gay groups, on and on and on, right?
So like Discord.
Right. Eventually you would divide it up to the point where everybody would be sitting by themselves in their own AA meeting. So we decided not to do that. We decided to try to accommodate everybody in one meeting. So anyway, but it's the same kind of thing. These churches divide along, political lines, and this whole Republican political line thing is really cutting the churches in half right now. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, I just want to do his letter part here. This is the letter he's circulating.
Should David Platt speak at the Liberty University?
That's the other one. David Platt, he's the main one.
Convocation. In July 2022, I was a speaker at Liberty University for the annual Creation Research Society CRS
Toot
conference,
my horn.
which was convened by one of the Liberty University provosts. In the audience at my presentation were faculty from the Department of Biology and Chemistry, the College of Osteopathic Medicine, and the Dean of Engineering. I'm a molecular biophysics researcher who has defended the Christian faith for 20 years. I wish to thank Liberty for hosting the CRS conference and giving me a chance to share my scientific research, which affirms that the Christian God is the creator and that God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, are clearly seen by the things that are made. Romans 20. In contrast to Liberty's hospitality toward me, I'm now under threat of arrest and jail if I ever return to a Christian congregation which I've been a part of since 1983, namely McLean Bible Church, MBC.
I just want to point out that I think there was a party where they asked me to leave, and they threatened me with arrest if I didn't leave. And the next morning, after I sobered up from the blackout drunk, I had to ask myself, why did they do that? What did I do something wrong? Okay.
A church which David Platt has pastored since 2017. David Platt has not told me specifically why I'm under threat of arrest and jail, but his hostility toward me began last year when I made a YouTube video that publicly rebuked his associate pastor, Mike Kelsey, for Kelsey's friendliness to the Black Lives Matter movement, BLM.
Okay, he's being rebuked because he was friendly toward the Black Lives Matter movement. And Mike Kelsey, I don't know if you noticed, but he's black.
Yeah, I'm just going to come out here and say, if you're against the Black Lives Matter movement, then number one, you don't understand the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
Number two, white lives may matter too, but they don't matter as much as you think.
Well,
three, fuck you if you're against Black Lives Matter, because black people, people of color, of African descent, have not mattered in this country. Go listen to the song Strange Fruit.
yeah.
And listen to that, and then listen to some of the history behind that, and you will understand why, if you oppose Black Lives Matter, fuck you.
I would disagree though on one point, Scott, and that's this. Those people definitely did matter when another group of people were trying to keep them from being purchased by another group of people. Know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
or from having their own wealth. Remember, in Oklahoma, around Tulsa, was it around Tulsa? Was it the Greenwood community? When they started doing really well, it was the white people who decided to just burn them down, shoot them from airplanes, and crap like that. So.
Yeah, and you can imagine, I mean, the nerve of this black pastor showing up at a Black Lives Matters rally.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, what's the world coming to? Anyway.
And you know, anybody listening who is like part of the MAGA movement, into the GOP,
Go fuck yourself.
Well, I'm just going to say, you may not really understand the Black Lives Matter movement, and why saying all lives matter is really being part of the problem and not being part of the solution. And if you don't understand if you do understand the Black Lives Matter movement and you're against it, then fuck you.
Okay. Well, he did something else here that Sel is mad about, and I just want to, and I want to explore that, and I put links in the description so that we can explore it fully, but I'm going to go ahead.
I publicly rebuked Mike Kelsey for saying in an interview, quote, "It's difficult for me not to torch all white people, particularly white evangelicals and Christians," end quote. And for him publicly flaunting Black Lives Matter to God signs at public events during a time when BLM protesters were literally torching communities to the ground.
No BLM protesters that I know of torched Minneapolis to the ground. I live in 13 miles from all of that. I know people who attended those protests and those rallies, and no, that's not what happened.
Yeah, I know some people that attended some of those rallies. Not in the really big cities where some of the stuff touched up later, but
yeah,
some of those confrontations with law enforcement and some of the more opportunistic types, the rioters that would come in afterward and kind of kick shit up. I think this is interesting because like somebody like Cordova, at least he's embracing the fact he doesn't care He clearly has given up on the fact that it doesn't matter to him. He is going to just conflate any of the kind of, any of the people that would engage in looting and stuff. They're all the same. Those are the protesters. The rioters and the protesters are all the same.
Yeah,
There's no distinction. I bet unless you got him into a discussion, I bet he'd back off that real quick. Like, see, anybody that protests is just basically a rioter waiting to happen. They're all just eventual looters, right? Like, what about the people that went to like the capitals?
Yep.
Marched in the state capitals, demanding that, the removal of mask mandates, and they showed up armed, and spit in the face of cops. Like, was that? Yeah.
That was peaceful. Anyway, so that's supposedly what he said. So that interview was with Jenny Ellen, I think, for this. Oh God, what I keep forgetting. Kelsey said this, okay, and I just want to make that bigger on the screen. Okay, how can I make it bigger? Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Okay, so he said. So it's a mix. I was telling a mentor the other day that I feel like I keep vacillating in between sadness, anger, resignation, and resolve. To be totally honest, it's difficult for me sometimes not to just torch all white people, specifically white evangelicals and Christians. And Sal shows pictures of people burning and stuff. He's speaking rhetorically about just yelling at people like Sal, right?
Right.
And evangelicals that don't fucking get it. And then he says, what keeps me from this, that is meeting and being in community with so many white brothers and sisters. Okay. Jesus never gives us permission to hold people in contempt, even people who are straight up explicitly racist. The Lord challenged me a couple of years ago with this question. Do you want to be helpful or do you want to be heard? That was a humbling moment for me to ask what my role as a Christian and as a pastor was. I'm not just trying to add to the noise. I want to be a helpful voice. So anyway, that's the context of what he said, right? And he was like, right at this time, the George Floyd incident had just happened, and he's talking about how horrified he was when he watched that video, when he watched this man being murdered, right? And he was like full of emotion, and that's why he used the words that he did. And while I do not agree with this guy, because I think he is a fundamentalist on any other grounds, I've listened to some of his interviews. Another one in particular is this one, where he talks about, I think, an incident where I didn't get the whole story, but he was in a hoodie with his kids, and he was going to run for some reason, but he decided, as a black man, I can't be seen running because they might kill me or arrest me, right? Mm-hmm. A black man in a hoodie. Even though I have my kids, I can't run. I have to be careful how I behave around the police so that I don't get attacked. So, I mean, this guy he's felt the brunt of this shit, right? And Cordova is just fucking doing this. I mean, he's created all this havoc over that incident. And that's where he started with the whole trouble with McLean Bible.
Man, that's messed up. That's just messed up.
Was he spearheading that stuff in his church? Or was he just kind of along for the ride?
Well, he's got websites, and he's got two. I think there's some other people that are working on it with him, but I think he is very visible in this in this fight. There are some other people, I think, that were with the founders of the church that are behind him and stuff like that. But he was running around in the lobby with clipboards and asking questions and keeping track of people, and they finally said, "Enough, Sal, get the fuck out of here." So anyway, and this is not this is a pattern that has gone on throughout Sal's life. Basically, he's been disinvited from a number of forums. So anyway, see what else it says in his letter.
I rebuked Mike Kelsey because his sermons, Sunday schools, writings, and speaking events, in these, he has marginalized Christians just because they are white. I rebuked him in obedience to 1 Timothy 5:20, which says, "For those who persist in sin, rebuke them in the presence of all, so that the rest may also stand in
Okay.
Except that's not what he said in his.
See, Sal is not a pastor. He's not a deacon. He's not an elder, as far as I know. And that is, it was written to Timothy, who was ostensibly, because it really wasn't written by Paul, I don't think, but to Timothy as a leader of a church or a group of churches. So that doesn't even apply to Sal. And boy, he's got some gonads on him if he's using that as a reason. All he needed to do was go meet with this guy in his office, and I don't know that he did that. I don't know that he didn't, and talk to him about his problems. But he didn't sin against the white community. White evangelicals have been harming black communities for centuries.
Yeah.
There is a rift there that has never been addressed, that there's never been any real justice done. When they freed the slaves, they paid restitution to the slave owners.
Oh my God.
not to the former enslaved people. So, Sal is either intentionally ignorant or accidentally ignorant, but what he's saying right now is just ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come down off. I don't know if I'm on a high horse. I'm just kind of outraged right now.
Maybe there's a biblical passage that you should read.
Maybe it'll calm me down and rebuke and reprove me or something.
It still seems to me like this is just Sal like lacking basic reading comprehension, right? Because he's like, well, he just marginalized the Christians because they're white, but in the letter that you were just showing, that wasn't his point. He's like, yeah, I was inclined to think this way, but as a Christian, I'm not supposed to.
Right.
So yeah. I'm not sure what Sal has left to be inflamed about.
Right, because in the next fucking sentence, he said why he would not torch white people, and the guy just admitted to having an emotion, as a black. Well, I had that fucking emotion when they were burning buildings just south of me in Minneapolis, and doing all this shit and all this stuff was happening. We didn't know if it was the protesters or what the fuck was going. It turned out to be some weird ass groups that came in and started most of the trouble. But anyway, they had boarded up buildings, right? And I was like, I think you guys should torch my house. I mean, it's fucking fair, because I was so sick of seeing fucking police killing black people. I'm so fucking tired of it. I've had it in Minneapolis, and it happened, and it's still happening. Jesus. And there was a white woman that really pissed me off that happened about 20 years ago, and I should know her name, and I keep forgetting it. But there's a website dedicated to her. But she was in Minneapolis, right? And she had a master's degree in psychology or something like that, and she was a very intelligent woman, and she had schizophrenia. And her neighbors would frequently call the police to have them help her, because she would be out on the ledge of her window from a 2-story building, screaming at everybody that the devils were coming, the devil's coming, the devil's coming. So they were called to her apartment as a wellness check, right? And so 8 officers entered her apartment and tried to calm her down. She ran into her bedroom, grabbed a knife, and hid by the bed. And these 8 officers were trying to get into her bedroom, and she was screaming at them, devil squad, stay away from me. So they shot her about 8 times and killed her. That was her solution on a wellness check for a mentally ill person.
Yeah, when somebody is
Minneapolis,
hyper agitated state and frightened or whatever, 8 people in one room confronting you is not going to calm you down,
right? And
unless you take special measures. Well, but that wasn't done, obviously.
Right. She already thinks the devil's in a room, and they're called there to do a wellness check, to care for this woman, not to kill her. Okay, anyway, that was a famous case, and that happened. She was like 40 years old, I think, and she weighed about 80 pounds. She was extremely tiny. And I think 8 police officers could have basically contained her, or just left, and let somebody come and shoot her with a dart or a taser or something. But goddamn, they killed her. And the family, it still has a website about this, and they're still trying to get justice for it. I think they got several $1 million for it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I want to hear Arrested Saul's letter and see where he goes with this. Okay?
Sure. Yes.
You lose one homeschooler, you gain another.
It's kind of a law of the universe.
Yes, it is.
BLM activists openly promoting BLM in the NBC lobby on Sunday mornings.
Oh my God.
Here is one such photo showing NBC pastor Wade Burnett with a BLM activist.
Oh, the horror.
David Platt and his leadership team have also been caught on video threatening members of the congregation with arrest and jail if they spoke out at congregational meetings, and this includes members demanding points of order and motions from the floor under Robert's rules, which is their customary right as voting members of the congregation. Their due process right to speak at church business meetings should be protected rather than prevented by threats of jail. Because of the suppression of the free flow of information at congregational meetings, I reached out to the congregation through the internet. But David Platt, from the pulpit, referred to such online outreaches as ungodly, and that my activities were, quote, online.
Yeah, that was when he started the whole 10 video onslaught on the Clean Bible. And he was called out basically after that as being ungodly. So that's kind of what happened. But anyway.
I take it he's not a BLM fan, is he?
No, he isn't. It's like, oh my God, the horror. He was seen with a BLM protester.
What was on the back of that shirt where they were showing like somebody talking in the lobby? I can't.
All lives matter. All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's actually a really good point.
It is.
I can't disagree with that at all. There's no real qualification to that except to inform people who have been intentionally made ignorant by the white supremacist elite patriarchy about racism and slavery in the country. You know, we've left so many truths out of our history books that a lot of people go with the kind of vanilla, things were bad then, but now things are a lot better kind of attitude without really understanding what's wrong today.
Yeah, then he's got a website where he's got this graph where he shows the dropping attendance, and he's questioning how much money they're making and how they've totally screwed the church up. And church, you know, the whole Baptist church has been cut in half over these matters, right, recently. And it's hit this church. So.
Yeah, and of course, they're in a very political town, and there's a lot of very politics and government related people in that congregation too. So it's like,
yeah, but then
it's affecting everything.
Well, there's kind of a, because he's out in Portland, isn't he? Oregon?
No, that's
it's in Virginia.
Virginia somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, well.
The McLean Bible Church he's talking about, the minister he's talking about appeared with Trump. Basically, he's got a picture of that David Platt with Trump. And this church, their main purpose is to influence Congress in Washington, D.C. And they're located very close to Washington, D.C.
I bet they still have their tax exempt status too, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah. They'll keep that.
I don't know why I was thinking that this whole thing happened out in Portland, Oregon. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Well, I think the story with all the names changed and everything has been playing out in congregations all over the U.S. probably.
He shows some document here. I want to see what he shows.
Swear before God and the courts that I was worthy of being threatened with arrest and jail for speaking the truth.
Call an ambulance, Sal.
Call the wind.
We gotta look for this. Okay.
The waterworks is delicious.
So he's suing them so that they will tell him publicly why he was thrown out of the church.
Hey, I'm not about cancel culture.
Yeah. Anyway. Canceled.
Apparently Sal is.
He got canceled.
Big fan of canceling people.
Jay, you're in and out. Well, okay. In and out, Jay.
Well, that-
In and out. Stay in or stay out. God damn it, kid.
The phone burns up, man. StreamYard really burns up the phone.
Yeah, okay. Okay, go ahead. I'm really impressed that both of you are appearing at the same time because I'm pretty sure you're one person.
I think there's like this elaborate setup of like 2 laptops and 2 microphones and
Didn't you
voice.
say one's a phone and one's a computer? Right.
Mhm.
Sounds like a conspiracy to me.
If you knew how inept I really was with technology, you'd know that can't possibly be true. So
Yeah. Real quick, because I've gotten interrupted and been in and out. Is this letter that Sal's reading, is this going to be like the basis for his lawsuit?
It might be. It's something he's circulating. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to get David Platt canceled from Liberty because he's got an upcoming talk he's going to give at Liberty.
Okay. So this he might, if he's got a pending lawsuit, though, he might want to be careful about circulating certain views if you've got a lawsuit going, because that can possibly turn around and bite you in the butt.
Right, and he's talking about how it's going to cost them millions of dollars to defend themselves against Cell's lawsuit. What is it going to cost Cell? Because I don't think he's got millions. I don't know.
it'd be kind of hard. Like I could, if this was one of those things where he could appeal to one of those kind of those activist law firms that take on these kinds of like Christians versus the state thing, that'd be one thing. But this is a guy suing another group of Christians.
Wait,
right?
he thinks this might. You know what? How much you want to bet he's got it scrambling around in his brain that this might go all the way up to Supreme Court kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, because I was late getting into this. Does anyone know on what grounds he's suing?
I don't know. I don't know what grounds he would have. It's a volunteer organization.
Something about the church being like putatively a public meeting area or something, or I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway, okay. I want to see what he says about this document.
Does Sal think he's getting persecuted for being a Christian? How much you want?
He thinks he's being persecuted, and I think he sees himself as like this white knight for a cause, like either whether it be young Earth creationism or protecting Taylor, the science girl, or science woman. I mean, and or defending McLean Bible Church against wokeness. Sit down, Sal. You're making an idiot out of yourself.
Oh, it's a purity movement. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, these fucking modern Christians don't know what persecution is. What I want to see is a lion come loping from the back room there over Sal's left shoulder and fucking bite his head off.
A lion named Septimus with the gladiator behind him. Like
Exactly. Then I'll believe you're fucking persecuted.
Well, the thing that I find funny is that if enough time plays out, these people are just going to eat each other. Like it's like barring the persecution they need to see in the real world coming from the secularists, as they call it, they'll just provide it to each other. Like, what the fuck? I'll sue you to oblivion and back you Baptists, you woke Baptists.
Oh God, does somebody have video skills? Could they please do that for me? The lion come loping out of the back room.
Did someone ask for some persecution?
Yeah, and then what you do is you make it look really nasty, and then you flip to a clip of like a cat playing real rough with a toy.
Yeah. The real story.
It's gonna be really bad.
Okay, come on. Now, let me see this document.
I was about to be canceled.
Given the privilege to speak before the congregation, according to Proverbs 18:17, where it says, "The first to state his case seems right until the other comes and cross-examines him." I have signed a sworn affidavit to contest David Platt's insinuations that I'm some sort of terrorist trying to disrupt worship services.
Did he just call him a
To my
terrorist?
knowledge, David Platt has not signed a sworn affidavit affirming that the communications he circulated about me are true. His claims about me should be cross-examined according to Proverbs 18:17. And I invite him to swear before God and the courts that I was worthy of being threatened with arrest and jail for speaking the truth.
I don't think that'll be grounds for any lawsuit.
Yeah.
Did he look up affidavits on what's that? Is that LegalZoom that you can get those documents?
Yeah.
You can find those templates anywhere. And here's the other thing: like, if you're gonna appeal to this kind of like, this is a weird thing to do. Like, if you're gonna make it legal, you don't do this court of public opinion thing without your lawyer, and you certainly don't show your legal documents at for any amount of time on a camera. Given today's modern technology, you simply do not do that. I think it'd be funny if somebody just like took a look at that, blew it up, and was like, "Yeah, okay, maybe it is a legit affidavit." But like, signing an affidavit just means you swear to the accuracy of whatever you've put in the affidavit. I don't know where this came from some of these guys. It's like lawyers. These people think that they can homeschool their way into a law degree. And affidavit
probably
doesn't
have
mean
a
much.
subscription to LegalZoom, and they just download it. And...
Well, I got there's something fundamentally almost snowflake about this.
Yep.
Imagine if someone I was having meetings at my house, or book let's just say Bible study at my home. And there's a particular person there who starts doing things that I don't like, and I tell them to leave. And if they come back, just remember. And I do this under threat of possible, charges being pressed for trespassing or stalking or whatever, right? Because I told you I don't want you around my house. Sal's put him in a position to where if he was that individual being kicked out of my house, he would then try to find a way that I need to now somehow justify myself in some kind of court of law as to why I am somehow obligated to have you in my fucking home.
Right.
The church has the same, that private organization has the same legal stance. They are not obligated to have him there, nor do they have to justify, according to the law or the Bible, why they don't want a particular individual in that private organization.
Right.
I wonder if anybody has ever gone to court over violations of Robert's Rules of Order.
Oh, all the time.
You think? Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a caning offense in parts of Southeast Asia, don't you know? 40 whacks with a bamboo rod.
Man, yeah. So you better make those point of inquiries with seriousness.
The other thing that I think is funny too is that these guys, like, when somebody like Sal does this, it tells me that most of what he understands about law. I mean, and this isn't like because I'm trying to talk down to him or anybody else. Most of what anybody knows about law comes from like movies and law and TV shows, right? I mean, so we all have this kind of. But when guys like this get into this kind of stuff, they get this Sal is embracing this kind of flair for the dramatic. If you really appreciate the law, just a little bit more, there's a reason why the really effective, really dangerous lawyers are called sharks. Sharks do not pop out of a wave, ride high on it like Zeus out of the clouds, announce their intentions, castigate you, demand a public duel, slap you in the face with a leather glove, and then attack. That's not how a shark works. A shark, you don't see the attack coming, right? Like normally, you don't. Mm-hmm. You're just swimming along, and all of a sudden, you're being pulled underwater, and it's like a gruesome jaw scene. That's the most effective lawyers, right? If he was serious about this in a legal sense, he would shut the hell up about this. You don't go on YouTube. You don't wave your paperwork around in front of a camera. You shut up about it. You go quiet. You hire lawyers, and you let them do their shit. My thinking is, has he said at any point, does he have any actual counsel that he has?
He claims he's got a lawyer, so I don't know. But the interesting thing is that the church has like access to about 15 videos that he's done on them, where he has slandered them. And when he started this whole thing right about a year ago, he went up from 200 subs to about 1,500 subs because of this church. Because he got all these church members, on his side and riled up. And so all of that is evidence in this court case that he was harassing this church, right? And this particular minister. And at one point, and he's got a website, and one of the tabs is humor, and he shows funny memes of this pastor and stuff like that. I mean, he's clearly disrupting the congregation. And I think that's all they need in order to ask a person to leave. That you create havoc, right? That you're creating division in the church, and that would be it. So I think they've got I think it's going to be tossed out of court. Everything else, I guess, against the McLean Bible Church has been tossed out so far, but they keep going after them. There's a whole bunch of people that are pissed.
And there's that thing, if I were still a Christian, I would have zero respect and regard for anybody who claims to be a Christian yet is suing their church.
Yeah.
Because, that is just directly and absolutely condemned in the New Testament, where it talks about you'd rather be wronged than to expose your disagreements and stuff to basically to a lost world. In other words, don't take each other to court, settle it in house.
Yeah. Well, when they grab you by the scruff of your neck and the seat of your pants and throw your ass out.
Yeah, you get a little raw from that.
You get a little raw.
You do. I understand emotions are high, but those words are there, for a reason, maybe? I don't know.
My point is that, when that happens to me, I always ask myself, did I do something wrong? Did I go too far? Did I go too far? It's really important. Anyway, swinging over trivial matters. Yeah. And it just creates havoc. I just don't think that, I'm a fucking atheist and I understand that you don't do that, right? It's like, Jesus. It's not the Christian way is what I'm saying. Anyway.
Who are you?
Even though atheists have no reason to live and no morals, I still know better.
Did you kick Gurr out of here?
No, I should have, though. God damn it. I should have thrown him off.
Yeah,
no, he left.
He says BRB, so he expects to come back.
He's going to start a competing stream is what he's doing.
Actually, Rage was getting after him in the chat about not shilling for a debate that was coming up. Rage is like, what?
That's pretty soon, isn't it? Pat Lowinger, is that on Saturday or?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I'd like to hear from Pat Lowinger because he's going to bring some ancient history stuff in. I saw part of his strategy on was it Digital Informant or Myth Vision? But I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, now you got to get me a link. Oh, and here's Randolph. Hey, Randolph. Anyway.
Hey, Randolph, is this the week for the fortnightly? Oh, we lost Randolph in mid-question.
He'll be back. He's just having some internet connection issues. Okay.
It's tonight. It's going tonight at 9 on Gurr's channel.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to. Well, I might be able to. I don't know. I'll be chasing my kids around.
Well,
but
why is
be recorded?
Well, Gurr can get his ass back in here and provide us with a link that I can put in the description. So.
Anyway, I was asking you, Randolph, and welcome.
Hi.
Is this the week for the fortnightly? I'm going to call it debate or discussion about.
No, that was
last week.
That was last weekend. So.
Okay. I knew. I remember watching it recently, but I don't know.
We're almost halfway through the fortnight.
Okay. It's hard to make it to the next one. It's just so long between them. It really is a great part of my Sunday morning routine.
That Fortnite shit must be some kind of fucking Canadian metric bullshit that I don't get.
No, actually, I've encountered the word in the Lord of the Rings, 6 books of Lord of the Rings. So it was used in there, and I thought, what a neat word. I
think it's all over Shakespeare, too.
So we had our in-person get-together at the end of last month, and it went really well. And we've got another one scheduled for September 24th. And right now we've got 18 members on Meetup. The first time I put the event up, we had 2 new members. And then, Neil's one of them, so we count 1 new member. But now we've got 18 and a bunch of people expressing interest in going. So I think our group is going to grow. It's fantastic. One person even wants to start a book club, which we had something planned for January. But if they're interested, then we may start it earlier.
Is this like an online meetup or
in person? We did a stroll through the park last month and on the 27th of August. And then now we've got one coming up in September 24th. And there 2 people came from the US for that one last month. One from Seattle and one from Texas. And others are mostly locals. So it's like, wow, they were, one of them said they were trying to decide which weekend to come on. And they decided this weekend, that particular weekend, because we were running the event. It's
So
free. Just come.
if I start jogging right now, I can probably make it to Vancouver by the 24th.
Yeah, you know what? There's one guy I think is smarter than you who commented to me he's going to just fly his private jet over here.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, if you can, you should. I mean, right?
I think Speed's private jet is out for maintenance. Otherwise, he was going to do it.
Those
So he has to
fucking
improvise.
the smarty pants with their private jets, you know.
I know. I love these comments that come in. It's hilarious. So yeah, so we've got that on CanadianAtheists.ca in case anybody wants to see it, and we've got the new graphics up for that one. So a different park this time.
Okay, Speed, the link to the Gur Streams debate with Pat Lowinger versus the 7-day calendar guy is available in pretty form.
Pat Lowenger's talking to Tested by Fire, Stanley Terry.
Yes.
Scary Terry. Oh, God.
Scary Terry.
Well, I would say something worse, but it'd probably get canceled. So I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah. We get canceled a lot around here.
Oh. It's kind of turning into a fad, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So Cordova last night put out 2 complete videos from other sites, and I'm not like 2. He just grabbed their videos and put them on his site. And I was wondering, can I do that? Is that okay? Can I just like grab, I'd go grab Simon Dan or something, just get their entire video and start putting it up as content on my site? I'm going to try. I'll see what happens.
I'll give you permission to use any of my videos as long as you mention Sal.
Oh, okay.
That you're doing it, and then you're doing it because of Sal.
Because of Sal, right? Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You can use any video you want.
Okay, I don't know if we should proceed with this, or is anybody interested in going any further with this particular topic?
No, it's basically who knows what kind of track Sal is on, and
there was some other stuff here about what the fuck is more about science and creation.
I'm happy to announce that I'm working on a book. I have an editor.
Oh yeah,
who's helping me through this through the public enemy.
Oh God!
Regrettably, I'm involved in a lawsuit against McLean.
Wait a minute. Didn't he file the lawsuit?
What's that?
Didn't he file the lawsuit?
Regrettably, he had to.
the passive language. Regrettably, a lawsuit has popped up. How did the lawsuit occur? Oh, because I filed it. Well, then it's not really regrettable, is it?
Yeah. No.
I guess the only thing that's regrettable is that they couldn't do pistols at dawn. Sal.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Bang is failing. I'm going to release a video on that.
Oh, here we go.
Genesis.
Here we go.
So, on the science front, the Big Bang is failing. I'm going to release a video on that. Abiogenesis is absolutely collapsing, and it's just delightful. And
nobody's working on it anymore.
The secular world hasn't completely.
I really want to see this guy talk to a real scientist. Oh wait, he probably has.
Who worked for a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry by the name of Richard Smalley, who absolutely eventually rejected his own atheism, became a Christian, and rejected abiogenesis and evolutionary theory. Praise God for that. We have great scholars who rub shoulders with Nobel Prize winners like Marcos Eberlin. And we're just seeing evolutionary biology getting less and less respect as a scientific discipline.
Where is he getting that from?
Because of the complexity of biology, it just
his own little brain.
The answers and the mechanism.
Anyway, he mentions that there are 50,000 students at Liberty College who he claims are young Earth creationists, and that is a tremendous number. But I think I figured it out, and it's like 0.02% of the students in the world. And I'm guessing that out of those 50,000, not all of them are young Earth creationists. So anyway, he goes on. But anyway, enough cell bashing for the day. I put the links for the interviews with that reverend so that everybody could see the context and see that he was taken out of context and unfairly slandered by Sal Cordova. And I think that's important. So anyway, we got a debate.
Did you happen to post another link, dear Speed?
To your debate? tonight?
Well, it's not my debate, but yeah, the one I'm moderating, the one on my channel that so many people want to see.
It's
Can
in
you-
the side chat,
I'm gonna
but
butcher it.
it's also in the private chat so that
Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen? Some
Well, I
big
put-
guy's gonna say something that I strongly disagree with, and I'm gonna be backstage biting my tongue like.
You guys need to put more links to that in the live chat. Otherwise, because Maynard right now, I think might have maybe a fraction of people convinced that I'm hosting a debate.
I saw
tonight.
that. I was reading it. I was like, that son of a bitch.
Okay, go look at the description, Gur. Go look at the description
Hold on.
at the very
Oh, there
end.
we
Go
go.
down to the very end.
Okay, I see it. Thank you.
Okay,
Grandpa.
now hang on a second.
That was 1 second. I'm done hanging on.
Have you guys had Pat Lowinger on here?
Probably
Okay.
not, because Answers in Atheism is kind of a low quality channel where I only have
So,
like
Gur?
the best people on.
Refresh your page, Gur. Refresh the page and go look at the end for your link again,
All right, hold on.
just in case. Okay, because you inspired this. You bought this, dude. You brought this on yourself.
Actually, to be fair, I had nothing to do with it. They just suggested, hey, we'll do it on Gur's channel. And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'll do it. I think I'm good at being fair.
Wait, so you got kind of volunteered into this somehow?
Yeah.
He got pulled into it. Now
Yeah,
I think Pat did a really good thing in that he somehow got what's the guy's name?
Vision.
Stanley or whatever. What's his name?
Oh, Terry Stanley or Stanley Terry. I don't know what name. he
Got him to
prefers.
send in a synopsis or like a 2,000 word synopsis of his arguments and everything. And then, of course, Pat provided the same thing for him.
Yeah, they said.
So you have
papers.
the potential to actually have them be prepared for the counterpoints and stuff.
Yeah, and what we're gonna do is cross-examination, because then Pat can ask his questions to Terry, and if Terry dodges or anything like that, that's when I step in and say, no, you can ask your questions when it's your 10 minutes, and vice versa. So it should be pretty good, hopefully. Probably a dumpster fire, but that's nothing new.
Okay, did you read the update, Gur?
Let me see.
And I put Randolph's link out there. And
Well, gentlemen, the time has come that I must go. I have a couple little rug rats to chase around and spoil and to make me tired. So I will see y'all.
that's what they do.
On Monday, maybe Saturday or something, or Sunday actually, if you get up early.
All right, good talking to you.
That'll be good.
Scott.
Cheers, Scott.
Looking forward. Those are good streams you guys are running on Sundays. I hope
What's
you- Oh, you guys are running good streams on the weekends.
Oh, that amateur conversationalist thing?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't tuned into all of them, but the ones I've seen, I really like. You guys are.
Well, we only have two out now. We're doing one on Sunday on tolerance because I am the most intolerant person when it comes to Christianity. So, being an anti-theist, so we're going to get into that a little bit, and that's what John wanted to do. So we're doing that Sunday. So anyway.
So is Sell getting sued, or is he talking about suing?
He's suing the church. He says he filed some kind of a motion. I don't know what he did. He filed some kind of a thing requesting that they explain why they threw him out. And,
I remember he had some concerns about misappropriation of funds or something, right?
yeah, but this isn't about that. This is about them escorting him off the property and telling him that they were going to arrest him if he ever came back.
Oh. Okay.
And apparently he's trying to force them into publicly explaining why they did that to him. And as I gleaning from his conversations earlier, the pastor said he didn't want to do that because he didn't want to harm Sell's reputation.
Oh wow, interesting response.
So Sell is basically suing him so that he will harm Sell's reputation. Which I don't get. Do you get it? I don't get it.
Well, maybe Sell knows what they're going to say, and it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't see it as harmful to his reputation. So that'd be my guess.
He's a warrior against woke is what it is. He's a warrior against woke.
Oh, the wokeism stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, he does something else here too. That's kind of cringy at the end of this fucking video that we.
He gets all woke on you.
Well,
I think he's more anti-woke.
David Platt speak at the
no,
Liberty
no,
University
shit, I don't have it.
Convocation
God damn it, I don't have it.
in
I
July.
didn't timestamp it. Maybe it's another bit. But anyway, he's praying for this woman who lost custody of her daughter, who wants to. Is it her? Okay, I guess it would be her son. This child wants to transition, and the father got custody of the child because the mother is an evangelical who basically is trying to stop the kid from doing this, right? So Sel is praying for this woman to win so that the child can go back with the only person that ever loved her, is what he said. The one who's trying to interfere with what the kid wants to do, right? So anyway, something like that.
They do not like, especially the evangelicals, do not like any of that stuff. They're
No,
very
they don't
much
like it.
all the change. It's all boils down to the foundation of all of this, again, is authoritarian control. And there it comes up in spades. It's horrible. Like, if you really, truly, like they claim they want everyone to live a happy and better quality life, then peace on these things instead of trying to interfere. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't it
Okay,
funny how
Kat.
the church is always on the wrong side of history
Yeah.
every time?
Yeah,
amazing. Change is a bad thing. We want to go back to the 50s with,
Speed, I see you had said something about Leo said something that you disagreed with in regards to the performance of the debaters last night. I didn't watch the debate. I was watching Myth Vision.
Yeah, I gotta. Okay, Kat, will you please get out of the way? I had bookmarks back there. Loki, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Loki's interfering with the show. Oh, fucking Loki. Okay.
Stupid or energy.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts there, James. All right, up next we got Leo Phyllis and then Godzilla Freak. What's up, Leo? Welcome to the stream. I saw you having meltdown, not in the same context, but like you were clearly having some issues with what was going on in the debate inside chat over there. So share your thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, the problem is that TJump doesn't, he just knows fuck all about philosophy. He has no idea how to substantively engage with any of the arguments. I mean, I definitely think Ronny won that one just in virtue of the fact that he conducted himself significantly better. The thing is, though, his arguments, though, weren't really that profound, and I don't think they're that difficult to respond to, and I struggle to understand how TJump struggled to provide substantive responses to them, because they really weren't difficult arguments, but Ronny seemed to understand his position.
Yeah, and I got a totally different take from all that as to what TJump did, and I don't know why I would differ so much with Leo on this, but this was the guy's argument. It's Ronny.
To 12-minute open.
And this is why we invited this Spatchcock boys.
StreamYard Poison Boys.
Yeah, anyway.
Oh, wait, that's just Jay.
Oh, no, Leo's here. Okay.
Oh,
okay. We're playing this part.
Statement, the floor is all yours.
All right, thanks, Amy. Okay, so I have 5 arguments for why I believe God created the universe. 3 main arguments. First, science can't explain how something comes from nothing. This is a classic one. Obviously, TJump is familiar with this. The ultimate origins of the universe is basically beyond scientific explanation. Therefore, a supernatural explanation is the only plausible one. The existence of God explains why there is a universe instead of absolute nothingness. This is my second main argument. Science cannot explain a reason for why there ought to be a universe instead of nothingness. Non-existence continuing to not exist is an easy concept to imagine, right? Eternal nothingness and nothing ever happening. But nothing, absolute nothing, creating something is unimaginable, not only because it's impossible, but because there is no reason for why it should happen. However, if God exists, it's then reasonable and easy to imagine him creating things as opposed to just doing nothing. There is no reason for absolute nothingness to do anything, but there's plenty of reasons for why God would wish to make something happen. My third argument is this: science can't explain the fine-tuning of the fundamental properties of the universe. Another classic one, without resorting to multiverse theory.
So what he wants me to stop.
Well, I just say what he's saying about absolutely nothing doesn't make any sense. He's contradicting himself because he's imposing characteristics onto absolutely nothing, and then that invalidates it as being absolutely nothing.
Right.
There we go. Yeah, it's the thing is about absolutely nothing is we can't rule out the possibility of something erupting from it. If there's no laws of physics, no natural laws, there's no nothing, right? So that's the, and it's a philosophical point. It's not a scientific one.
Well, let's listen to his last two arguments, and then we'll discuss.
I just wanted to point that out. Oh, sorry.
So multiverse theory is illogical. It just doesn't make sense philosophically and intuitively, and it's just a really bad argument. So without using multiverse theory, we can't get around the fine-tuning of the universe. And then my two second arguments are these. Why does math exist? It's kind of a fun one. And why is there consciousness? Why did the universe create consciousness? Life can exist without consciousness. Things can work in a mechanistic way, and we don't really need consciousness. Now, if there is a God, it's easy to believe why. It's easy to see why there would be consciousness. But without God, we actually don't know why consciousness exists in the first place. So that's my opening. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, those are the 5 worst arguments I've heard in a long time. I mean, that was just a pile of shit. And I think TJump just lost his shit.
Yeah, the fact that TJump couldn't substantively respond to arguments that bad is not like a point in favor of TJump.
Pretty good job. Do you kind of hate TJump or what?
No, it's quite obvious he didn't actually have any substantive responses to the things that Ronnie said.
I didn't.
Where Ronnie was like, well,
what he said just.
I mean, like Ronnie was like, well, God created the universe, and because God is necessary, and you have to have something necessary. And what did TJump do? He didn't mention anything about the contingency argument. He didn't mention anything about the principle of sufficient reason. He didn't mention anything about that because he doesn't know anything about that. He just said, well, yeah, but it could just be an eternal quantum field, and then it fluctuates, and you get a universe. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, that's not a response. He's literally just quantum field of the gapsing this guy. Like, that's what he does in every discussion. I mean, TJump's performance in this debate was just absolutely tragic. Like, this was not a good performance on his part at all.
Well, all he did the whole time was call the guy stupid, and
exactly.
Okay, but
That's
I
the
don't
issue
think
I have
that
with
was.
TJump. Is he is so quick to go to personal insults instead of addressing what they're saying? He just addresses the person saying.
You'll notice that TJump seems to do this when he's in a discussion where it's quite obvious that he's out of his depth, where it's quite obvious that he doesn't seem to understand the subject material or like have responses to anything. He did this in his debate with Jack Gangstrike. He did this debate in his debate with Ask Yourself. He's done it in his debates with Godless Girl. This is what he does.
Hey, Leo, look at Icarus's most recent comment.
He did not, but I was trying to in LPP's after show, but me and Bubbles didn't get that far.
Speed, what is
Bubbles?
this?
You mean bubblegum gun?
Yes,
gun.
Oh, okay.
bubblegum butt.
I just wanted to make this warning clear for going to Gur's channel tonight. That everybody, I put this in the description.
Now, Gur, you have to remember, if Terry doesn't have a position paper on this, the debate doesn't happen.
He does. He submitted it on the final date. It was.
Did you count the words? How many words are in it?
It was 5,300 or something. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But yes.
In response to that warning that was just shown, do you have any recommended vaccinations for people who are going to come and watch your stream?
Well, COVID,
yes, all of them.
Definitely that one. Yes,
There
all
are-
of the above. All of the above.
There are 2 ways to get sexually transmitted disease, and one of them is having sex, and the other one is obviously watching Gurmania.
Well, you're not wrong. That's science.
And you don't even get to have sex.
I know that's the worst kind of STD.
Anyway, I like.
Gary likes to think that he's doing it to our ear holes.
I kind of like I like the new format of this debate.
Like
the way
condoms in your ears, everybody.
discussion.
I kind of like the new format of this debate, the way Amy just like really went quickly into the opening, and I don't know, it was really well done on Amy's part. So anyway,
Yeah, Amy's pretty good at those.
yeah.
Well, I didn't get a chance to see it, so. But I know usually Amy does a good job, though. As far as the debaters go, I don't know.
Yep. And this guy goes on and on about, oh my God, math.
I know that opening that you just showed was pretty dreadful.
Yeah, it was pretty dreadful.
It seemed like fallacy after fallacy to me.
And it got more dreadful after that when he tried to argue with Tom about it. So anyway.
Where did this Ronny guy come from?
He's got a Twitter account. That's all I know. I invited him over here on his Twitter thing, but didn't show up. So.
He probably watched your channel and said, nope. Not going there.
Yeah.
Apparently, this Ronny guy is like a white nationalist or something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, there was some guy. Well, there was some guy who I am assuming is Jewish. That was in LPP after show last night, and a couple times he mentioned like Ronny on like Twitter or something, some other platform has like, but it just says like anti-Semitic and white nationalist things or something like that. I don't know.
No shit. Oh, that's good. That's wonderful. I guess I don't want him on the channel.
There was also something else that I wanted to say about that debate, which I mean, it's kind of par for the course when you're watching modern day debate, but like nobody on that channel knows how to actually moderate a discussion, not even remotely. I have never once seen an actual moderator on that channel. Not once, not ever.
I actually moderated a debate there once, and I got a lot of good feedback from it that it went quite well. So maybe.
Did I see that one? What was the debate?
Oh, I forgot. It was a long time ago, and he brought me on as a moderator. It was a good experience, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Jim Majors and something Catholic.
Oh, that wasn't Canadian. No, I don't think it was Canadian.
No, it wasn't Canadian Catholic. It was a different.
It wasn't the Catholic traditionalist, was it?
Maybe he's very serious. He never smiles, and
I think was he on camera?
Oh yeah, both of them.
And you're sure it wasn't Canadian Catholic?
No, he wasn't Canadian.
Okay,
Catholic.
okay.
I would have had no problem remembering him.
Okay, because I feel like maybe I did watch that one, and I think I remember saying that like Randolph is like the only one that's ever actually moderated the debate instead of just letting it devolve into a dump.
And that was my first time ever moderating a debate. I've never moderated one before, so I have zero experience at that point. So that's given me, I guess, 1% experience to where I need to be.
Well, I hope to get the same kind of feedback, Randolph.
Bubbles got really, really mad at me in LPP's after show last night, though. That was pretty.
I'm not surprised. I didn't catch it, but I just can imagine him being.
Who got mad at you?
Bubblegum gun.
Bubblegum. Bubblegum.
I call him Bubbles or Bubblegum Butt.
Call him Bubblegum.
Wow,
that's mine. You can't have it speak.
Yeah, if you're able to get your interlocutors angry, and you're not trying to get them angry, then you've done extremely well.
Oh yeah, no, he was upset because we were talking about, he made the claim that if anytime that you talk about something supernatural, you're necessarily referencing God. So atheists can't believe in anything supernatural. I'm like, well, that's false. Atheists just talk, it's just with reference to God. That doesn't have anything to do with any other like there are many people who are atheists but who accept the existence of other supernatural things. And he was like, well, no, because if you reference a supernatural, it's got to reference God. And I was just like, well, what's the argument? And he didn't give one. And then he claimed that he gave a deductive argument. I was like, oh, you gave a deductive argument. What rule of inference did you use? And then he just started floundering hard. What are you saying? No. Answer the question. You said you used a deductive argument. So what rule of inference did you use?
He made a claim, and I guess he couldn't back it up. Why am I
No,
not
he
surprised?
could not. He could not back it up.
I'm not surprised.
And then Jason Ezard, or some, I shouldn't. I don't hope this. But anyway, like or Jason Eztard, as I sometimes, as I like to call him. Oh, that guy is just.
Yeah, I've had my moments with him.
It's something else.
The Tasmanian devil, but with more foam on his mouth.
yeah, pretty much.
Guy is nuts.
Jeff, remember that time you went into I think it was on Praise's channel, and you got into a back and forth something to do with like the Hunter Biden investigation or something like that. And he came in and he's just like, "Whoa, I'll cut your fucking head off. I'll cut your fucking head off."
Yeah.
He was just going
Yeah.
off. I'm
Okay.
just laughing my ass off.
over something completely ridiculous. I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, I'll get you. I'll punch you in the throat." And, and then he proceeded.
Yeah, so he had
What the hell?
he had an email exchange with me and Immutable, and he threatened to kill us. And for me, okay, and then he docks Donnie, for standing for truth. And
Isn't that when Donnie's going by Donnie?
When he threatened to kill me, it was really interesting. He said that I admitted that I made drugs for the cartel. And then when I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" he said, "I've got it on my phone. I got it on my phone." So he did a 20-minute video where he did nothing but scroll through all of his pictures on his phone, right? He had a screenshot. He was looking for where I said that, right? So he did his 20-minute video. It's like, "Oh, it's not there. It's not there," for 20 minutes. And then he said, "Well, I can't find it." And then he took the video down. And then he says, "I know people in the cartel, and I'm going to send them for you," or something. So he was sort of trying to have the cartel kill me because I wouldn't admit that I made drugs for the cartel. And it's like, I did not ever say I made fucking drugs for anybody, particularly a fucking cartel. I mean, I'm in Minnesota. What the hell?
His connections in rural Tasmania.
If it's actually true that he knows people in the cartel, publicly bragging about it is going to lose him that membership.
Exactly. Yeah,
I just want to
get him killed.
If somebody came to me and said, "I know people in the cartel," in Jason Ezard's voice, I would probably die right there laughing.
I would just ask him, like, "You know people in the cartel?" And
people in the cartel.
It doesn't count if you just saw a cartel plane fly over Tasmanian airspace and dump bales of cocaine into the wilderness. That does not give you a hookup. Also, there was
disconnected.
There was one time he's doing a stream and he was talking about his gardening, right? So he's showing photos of he's got like a tomato garden and he's like really into like organic gardening, this kind of stuff. And I was in the live chat and I made some comments about it and he got pissed. He started getting pissed on. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Those look. I'm like, those look good. I'm like, it looks like it's a good. He had raised beds and everything like that. So I'm complimenting like his garden, and he's just like, "How dare you?" He's immediately defensive. Like, get out of here! I don't need you trying to make. Like, oh my god, here he goes.
Oh god! And then the story about the guy that died in a bathtub from a heroin overdose and came back to life after an hour.
Oh, and the NDE, yeah,
that's a good one.
I hate those.
So, Speed, that email that you've got of the death threat, you really should make a video and do like a reaction video of it after reading it.
Oh God,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, that was about. I think that was about 2 years ago, but it was. He was coming after me. Immutable. Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
When I first heard about him, I thought people were seriously saying his name was Jason Lizard, and I was like, well, that's a weird way to pronounce the word lizard.
It might as well be. He's kind of like a Gorn.
Well, but that's how he would say it, right? A lizard.
Yeah, we were talking about, is it a sin to get drunk? And he was like, well, I'm sure Noah was a drunker for a little bit of his life because he lived like 900 years. He lived like 900 years long, so I'm sure he was a drunker.
You got to get it right, girl. Yees. They don't have R's in whatever language it is he's speaking.
Yees.
It's like in England, like nobody says K, like the K sound doesn't exist. So like you would, let's go take a trip to Buckingham Palace or something like that. That's
get a glass of water.
A bottle of water.
Glass of water.
You're gonna offend Ian Chen now if you guys keep it up.
Nah. But he's not British.
Yeah.
Yes, be racist.
Jeez.
Culturally insensitive.
They're being racist to the English. Yeah.
I can't be racist against British people. I married one at some point in the future.
See the power, Gur. See the power I have over you.
She's blonde, isn't she?
I like it when I don't have the power.
Amy was my debate. Wait, Sal. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Whoa.
Oh, yeah,
when did Sal cry? Somebody
bring
bring this up. Show it on right now. I want to see it.
Let me see.
What does it say?
Rage says that Amy was his debate partner when Sal cried. I recall.
Oh yeah,
I
had that.
This is what it sounds like when Sal cries.
Who was Sal debating with? Who was his debate partner?
Can somebody link that debate for us, please?
I think it was LPP. I think.
Oh.
I'll see if I can find it.
Maddox.
Oh God, I'm getting that shoot it in the head feeling.
You've been on
So anyway, Leo,
Leo,
I really disagree with you on Tom Jump's handling of that debate. I mean, Tom was, really rude, and he really came after the guy. But I wanted to whack him upside the head myself. So.
Well, I don't think that the dude made good arguments. I just think TJump's performance was absolutely tragic. Seems that you're kind of agreeing with that. Like, he was obviously rude, didn't really address the points.
No, I think he did address a couple of the points really well. One of them was, what the hell did he say? Something about, well, of course he's going on about the quantum field. And TJump's not a physicist, okay? But he said, I mean, if you could say, oh, well, God did it, saying that the quantum field did it is no different. And he brought that point up and went right over this dude's head. So
yeah, I just don't respond to fallacious arguments with equally fallacious arguments. I give good arguments when I respond. Yeah. I guess TJump just doesn't do that.
Well, look what he was working with. Okay.
Yeah, he should have been able to absolutely humiliate this guy. Instead, he humiliated himself.
I don't think he did.
Oh, shit. That's just...
I enjoyed it. So, anyway, okay, we agree to disagree on that one. So, how about we shoot it in the head, guys? Get ready for... what time is the debate on your channel, Gur?
It's 9 Eastern. So
oh,
it's
my
like Central. A couple hours.
God, so what is that Central? I can't... What is it in the one true time zone?
8 Central.
It's Central.
Well, why didn't you just say that to begin?
The one true time. Are we talking Greenwich Mean Time?
Huh?
I said the real time. Are we talking Greenwich Mean Time?
We're talking the Central time zone.
Eastern is
real
God's chosen.
Central to the universe.
If Godless Girl wants to join a stream since this one's ending, I think Rage is going to do a pre-show for the debate at when's it starting at 5:30 or something? 6 o'clock?
7:30 Eastern.
Oh, so Rage
6:30 Central.
It's an hour. Yeah.
Rage, do you have a link for that? Maybe I should put a link for that in my description.
Yeah, I think it was in the live chat. I saw it.
I'll post it.
Oh, I didn't see it. I will go find it and put it in the description. Anyway, guys, so we're doing a Sunday thing, and I don't know what else I'm doing this weekend. I think Andrew Cumming is going to come and address Cell's latest video. He put a video up from some science channel that was saying that the Big Bang is in trouble because of the James Webb Telescope, and then NASA has an article that says, no, it's not. And anyway, so we're going to do a little bit on that, I think. Let me see here. Where is...
Well, I remember the Big Bang theory was updated to support multiple Big Bangs to support quantum physics.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, some of these people I've talked to about this, because this was updated with Penrose and Hawking, as I understand, and people will end up saying it's impossible for them to happen at exactly the same time, so there can only be one. And I'm asking, what's preventing them from happening simultaneously? And
right.
As far as I understand,
what are we talking about?
They're happening simultaneously.
What's happening simultaneously?
The Big Bang.
Multiple Big Bangs.
Oh yeah. I reject the notion of multiple Big Bangs. I think most cosmologists probably do.
I'm going to put Rage in the Rage's stream in my description right under the warning for Gur streams.
Yeah, apparently Rage is not going to be like a show. It's going to be just a pre-review.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be an open mic. It sounds like. Okay. Jason might be doing an after show. He mentioned it in the side chat.
I hope he does, because he's going to be there.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh,
what's going to happen in this debate is Pat is going to show you how you should respond to people with really, really crazy arguments. Notice how Pat is, I mean, it hasn't even started, but I can already say that pay attention to how Pat doesn't go, "You absolute moron," every 3 seconds.
So if he does, that's going to be
Leo was...
If he did... Just imagine him saying that. "You moron!"
You absolute buffoon.
Did you look outside and you saw TJump spreading toilet paper all over your trees or something? Or, is he on your lawn?
I don't know what the issue. I just think that's the best way to word it. His performance last night was just tragic. It was just
I kind of liked it.
Tragic performance.
I'm just at the point of just calling them all idiots and never talking about them again. I'm just so.
Wait, Leo.
Now, if you want to see good angry debates, go watch Jack Angstrike. That's some quality content right there.
I think Jack is a dick. Do you have a link to something that I should watch where I would be impressed with him?
Pretty much like anything.
I
Like
talked
any
to him
discussion he has with people like John Lee and Matt Adams, and
I had a discussion with him and I thought he was an idiot. And then I saw him in some documentary or something.
Yeah, I remember that discussion.
Yeah, I thought he was an idiot. But anyway, I'm going to shoot her in the head, guys. What do you think? I'm going to shoot her in the head. I love this part. So, wait a minute now. Randolph, are you painting a fucking fuse box?
And the wall. Looks like it. And the wall.
Wait, let's keep it going.
Okay.
Doing some touching up.
Because we got a fuse box, and I really like the way it looks without the paint. But anyway, that's up to you, Randolph.
The previous owner painted it, and I had to repaint it because it's starting to
Gotcha.
Getting our house ready to sell. So
okay, yeah, I guess I don't want to slam people who paint fuse boxes, but
normally I wouldn't, but
okay,
like I said, it came painted, and the paint's starting to peel off a little bit, so I fix it up.
Thank you. We're okay. We're gonna get along. We're gonna get along fine, Randolph.
Especially the nice wooden doors, and you see a nice wooden panel. It's really nice.
Yes. Okay, boys and girls, and everybody, we're shooting her in the head.
And people who aren't either a boy or a girl.
Buffaloes and bunnies.
Stay curious.
Did I cover everybody? Goodbye, cruel world.
I said fast.